Hey everybody, welcome back to Drumbits. I am going to show you a 2-bar phrase today. Now, what is a 2-bar phrase? Well, when you play a groove, if you're repeating the same groove over and over again in every measure, it's the same measure. So it's just one bar over and over again. Well, if you do two different bars, two different measures, and you play two different grooves in those measures, it's 2-bar phrasing. It takes a little more thinking because you got to remember what you played in the first measure, because then after the second measure you got to jump back to the first measure. So I always just kind of start simple when I'm creating 2-bar phrases. Let's just take a standard rock groove. Okay, to start. That kick drum pattern, that's the first measure, where the first measure ends, okay, on the end of 4. When I get to that second measure, I want to change what the snare or the kick are doing in order to make it a 2-bar phrase. So I don't want it to repeat, okay? So let's pick another groove that might fit with that, all right? If you're playing this in your first measure, that last kick I did is on one of the next measure. So maybe that next measure is going to have an extra snare in it, maybe an extra kick that moves. So kind of like this. That's a 2-bar phrase. Okay, now that second groove that I did is a little more syncopated than the first groove. You can put any 2 grooves together and make them a 2-bar phrase. If you want to start out simpler than that, let me give you something simpler. The first groove again is this. Let's do this as a second groove. Okay, which is actually from a previous drum bit, so you should recognize it. So you got the first one, second one. All right. Put them together. Okay, it's kind of cool. It's a little longer. It's like a longer groove, right? So it's 2-bar phrasing back and forth. Now you might hear as you play that. You might hear other things you can add in. You might add a fill in the second measure. If you play a 2-bar phrase and you play it twice, that's 4 measures. On your 4th measure, you want to maybe add a fill in. Maybe one of the fills you learned here on Drumbits. It's kind of endless because you can move bass drums and snare drums all over the place to create new grooves. But I just wanted to show you what 2-bar phrasing is. You might be playing with a band and you're following a guitar part, and the guitar player is actually playing a 2-bar phrase. So you're trying to make your drum beat match that 2-bar phrase, not just by playing the same groove over and over again every measure. So think about it that way too. If you're jamming with a bass player, jamming with a guitar player, or whatever, listen to what their parts have to say and try to match what's happening with your drums. Try to match with what they're doing on their guitar or their bass, and that'll help you out in your phrasing. Okay? Have fun with it, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe and click that notification button so you know when I post new videos, and I'll see you soon. Thanks very much.